Well, hello. Hope all is well. Happy Sunday. Sitting here having a coffee, smoking some salmon. Having a good time. A rough day yesterday, though. It's funny if you can believe in something, it can hurt you. If you don't believe in it, it can't hurt you. But sugar water, that's on my brain. I need a cold snap for about a month and then warm up, you know, probably like 2 Celsius, maybe, or something like that, maybe 3 Celsius, and she'll run for most deciduous trees, birch, maples, whatnot, cottonwoods, whatever. But, oh, hey, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Just wondering who you are. Cheers. Sugar water. Where do you find it? And from trees and vines. Which ones? It's coming up pretty quick as soon as it warms up after that cold snap hits the United States. Goes up into Canada there now, I hear. Here out on the west coast, not so much. It's 8 Celsius. So I need a cold snap. Cheers. Oh, yeah, it's not been cold enough yet for me. I've got my spiles here. There's my spile. I'll tap this in on a 20-degree angle on a southern position, like the sun hits the tree. So that's about 20 degrees there. And the southern exposure, just about any maples, you know, birch, poplar, that kind of thing. And yeah, then there's this just tap in and hook a hose to pretty fast. Yeah, so I've got a few of them. Tap in. Oops, that's on wrong. This will show you right. So yeah, so what you want is to tap in on a 20-degree angle with, after it's warmed up for a couple days. Hey, Mother Earth Garden Club, I love maple syrup and I tapped trees in my front yard 2 years ago. Last year wasn't good for tapping. Well, let's give you a wrench first. Make sure it's Mother Earth Garden Club. And it is Mother Earth Garden Club. And that way, you are now, I think you've been here before, and I've seen you over at Gil's channel. And so, there's many ways to get sugar water from different trees. In the city here, they have those umbrella like birch, the kind of like you look like an umbrella birch and they prune it that way and it looks just like an umbrella. So what I used to do, I used to put a bunch of the little twigs coming off, and there's hundreds of them, put them in a ball, tie it, cut the ends 2 or 3 inches up, and then put a bottle on and leave it. And I'd come back and get my sugar water, well, a couple hours, sometimes the next day. It doesn't take long to fill up. And I did that. I've done that with grapevines. Like any grapevine after winter, and then they dry up though as it warms up. They won't run any sap. But I've only done like just small stuff. I've never done any. I didn't do any commercial anything or anything like that. I have family that does, but good to see you, Mother Earth Garden Club. I love maple syrup and I tap trees in my front yard 2 years ago. Last year wasn't good for tapping. Yeah, it's funny how that happens. You have to be on it. And, there's a few tricks like after a cold snap for a while, and then it warms up in, late February, early March. I live in Minnesota. You live in Minnesota? There's a lot of people that live in Minnesota. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. Buttons on my shirt. There we go. It's warm here. I had to turn the heat off. But but once you drill in like this, just about the same length of this. So this is about 5/16 maybe. So about this size. So then it's on a like an angle like that. So it'll go in tight, and you just tap it in, and then you can put on your bucket right there, and any bucket will do, and just make sure it's got like a lid. And you can get a commercial bucket too, and that's what this is for. You put the lid on so little critters can't get in it and wind and stuff. But if you're just right there getting a drink of sugar water, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's you're just getting a bit for yourself. Bugs are extra protein. Hey, oops, how's it going? Hello, Howie and Mother Earth. Well, we're just talking about getting a drink of sugar water, and I'm going to talk about the secret life of bees. I have a new book. The Secret Life of Bees. It's more of a storyline of a young girl that grew up in the backwoods of the Appalachia, and how things go on there. So it's very interesting. I just started reading it, and I'm like, wow, this would be a cool book to tell people about. Thank you all for the thumbs up. But the sugar water, like a grapevine, I drink a lot of grape water. You tell people some of the things you do, and they're like, oh, maybe that's related to your illness. It's like, that's quite presumptuous, and maybe I wouldn't be here without it. It's not all bad. You have to be optimistic. And if you believe in something hard enough, it may hurt you. And if you overthink something long enough, then, you've got a lot of anxiety. So yesterday I had a bit of I don't know, I wouldn't say a meltdown, but I don't like to get robbed either. So it ended up that I came out on top with my decision, but I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to go and tell the manager that you've ripped me off. I shouldn't have to get in the customer lineup. I was I wasn't really super pissed, but I told him the way it was. I'm tired of coming to this big box store. Like every year, I get back well over $500 from my incorrect bill. I'm just sick and tired of it. And yesterday, I just gave them what for. I said, now you can give it to me for free. And they did. They gave me $24 back and the item for free. Actually, all three items for free. Actually, there was more because there was 5 items in each satchel. It was different things in there for cooking, and I'm just tired of it. And check your bill. And so I let one go yesterday. And I wasn't like yelling or screaming or anything like that, but I was very firm that I'm not here to get ripped off. Okay. I'm not well. I'm tired of going shopping, getting in the lineup, and then looking at my bill. And it happens like almost every time. Not quite. If you're buying a small amount, it doesn't happen. But if you're buying a large amount at the big box store, it happens. I'm telling you. If you see a price of something, take your phone out, go do do, take your photo. There you go. So I was at the store a while back, and $279 was on my bill that shouldn't be there. So they wouldn't change it. And I'm like, well, I'm not paying for it. And here it's on my phone. Well, it wasn't on my phone, it was my friend's phone. But and they're like, oh, you saved $279 today. No, I didn't save anything. You tried ripping me off. And I see it a lot. I see it at the even at the small farmers market, there's these new people that took over. And I'm like, you know what? I said, it's not $43, it's $13. And the cashier's like, well, ginger's $10 a pound. I said, yeah, I only bought a quarter pound. She goes, how can you tell? I said, well, you do have scales and they're quite inaccurate, but I have this mobile electronic scale with me. Oh, in my country, you can put in a complaint and it would take weeks and months, even years to get back to you. It's called the Canadian Measure of Weights. Everywhere I go lately, no, I shouldn't say everywhere, but a good 75% of the places I go to are trying to rip me off, whether it's $10 or $279. So yesterday, the manager got a little piece of my mind. He tried to tell me that it wasn't true. I said, really? Look at the photo. Oh, that's been priced incorrectly. That's not my problem. My problem is to get the best product for the best price that I can. But anyway, that's my rant for today. On to sugar water. It's Happy Sunday. So we have a couple of types of spiles here. This one here is a very common spile. And you just any drill bit with you want this size going in. You only want about 1.5 inches. So that's about 1.5 inches, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. On a 20-degree angle. That's what you want in a southern position when you're tapping a tree. You can be just tapping for a drink of water. It's only like 1, 2, 3% sugar. But when it's really cold and you've got to work hard, isn't it nice to have a little sugar water? Because you're burning it. Yeah. So that's this one. Then there's like just a piece of pipe with just, you just drill a hole, tap it in, put a hose on it, and hook up other hoses. And it's more of a commercial thing. But this one is the old-fashioned way. There's other ones that are glass, but a 20-degree angle like that. And you want where the tree is warmed, okay, from the sun. So that's what you want. But and then you hang your bucket here. Now you can go out and buy the expensive stainless steel bucket or whatever it is, or you can just have like just a milk jug and it's dripping in the milk jug with a little tap and just put a little wrap around this little plastic wrap. Doesn't really matter. Either other way, you want to collect the sugar water, and that's the energy. And don't waste your time. Like if you're in Minnesota, like Mother Earth Garden Club, as soon as it warms up 2 degrees past below zero, I think that's like here it's like, I think it's like 1 or 2 Celsius is below zero here, or one or something like that. But then where you are, it's like 30 something. And then when it warms up for a couple of days past freezing, you can get out there and start tapping. And it doesn't have to be the big broadleaf maple or the little maple. It's any maple, and it's any like like you can tap a lot. My niece and her husband tap about 100 trees, have their own brand of maple syrup. I prefer a thinner syrup myself. I prefer just drinking the water, but be careful. Like sterilizing it would be a good idea. Past 150, not 150, 120, 130 degrees for 10 minutes. How to do it? Like maybe a little higher with a rolling boil. I'm not a maple syrup expert by a long shot, so I'm just giving you the general idea. And I only tap for like myself, and I've never really put anything up on YouTube about it. So this year, when I'm foraging, when I'm picking my dandelions and my dandelion crowns, and I'm picking different greens, and that's when I'll be tapping. Now I do several types of tapping that should be noted as well. Like I'll tap like grapevines, hey. But what I do is I just put a bottle, I cut the grapevine, and it just drip, 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 and it comes out pretty fast. And that's what I do. But then that dries up come springtime. I mean, that you won't get it, like especially late spring. That's it. It's over. It happens pretty fast. And then I'll tap like weeping birches. Like here in the city, you'll have these birch that look like an umbrella, and that's just the way the homeowner wants it. Now that's okay with you because you take a bunch of those twigs, tighten them up, tie them, and then snip them, and then put your bottle on, give it a bit of a tie with something, and then right away you're going to get that bottle full, hey, right away. So thanks for all the thumbs up. Happy Sunday. Cheers. Ooh, elm tree. That could be rough. It spreads black fungal disease. I had to remove an elm tree about 10-inch diameter one fall, and water poured out of it for 6 days like a faucet. Almost wide and open. Elm water good? No, not that I know of. And I wouldn't mess with elm. Spreads around disease. There's a black fungal disease even when you burn it, it can spread it around now. And it's like the locust too. Now I'm just repeating what someone else told me. I haven't done any research on that, so you have to do your own research. And elm water good? I don't know. I've never drank elm water, so you'd have to do your own research, right? If you put a little bit in a dish and then a bug comes up and eats it and dies, well, I wouldn't drink that one. I haven't tried birch sap yet. I only have sugar maples in my yard. Sugar maples. Not to say that elm water isn't good. I'm not saying that at all. Pilgrim, good morning. And chat, listening and driving. Oh, that's good. Listening and driving. Cheers. Happy Sunday. Just talking about getting a drink of sugar water for that little bit of sugar. And Pilgrim's talking to Oops. Yep. But I stick with like cottonwood. You can drink cottonwood and it pours out when you tap it like you wouldn't believe, man. It really, really pours out. But just remember that turns to alcohol within 24 hours. You can't store that. And there's trees like that. It just turns to alcohol. So, you should be careful about storing it and sterilizing it unless used right away. I used it right away. I was fine, but I've seen people get drunk off of it. But I'm just gonna tap probably 3, 4, 5 trees. I'm gonna collect a little bit for drinking in the spring, and I'm not gonna concentrate it. I'm not doing that. Well, I might do a little bit for my friend. She likes maple syrup on her pancakes, so there's this friend of mine that's into maple syrup, and so I'm going to tap a little bit, but I don't really do it a whole lot. I mean, I have my own ways of doing things, like without the spile, and the tap. I don't tap sometimes. Sometimes I just put my way into it, and that's like I said about the birch. It really drips a lot. Like you'll see the umbrella birch here, and it's just like it's the way people want their birch. It's weeping. They're weeping birch, but it's just like a silver birch or red birch. It's the same thing, or white birch. It's the same thing, except someone has made it into a weeping, so it looks like a mushroom. So it's kind of part of the landscape. So all you do, you see all these mega twigs. So you make a bundle, you tie it, you snip it, you put it in the bottle, you tie it on, and that's what I'm going to do this spring. And I'm just going to forage in the city like that. And so that's part of my foraging. Every year I do a few foraging videos. Not a lot, but you know, I do enough where you should learn something and it keeps me healthier, I'm hoping. So in the spring, when you're foraging, you're a lot less likely to run into cross contaminants because people are hiding in their house really over the winter. They're not out there spraying Kill-X or Roundup. And it's tough, man. You have to get to know your neighbors and see which ones are going whoosh, whoosh, with their Kill-X. Whoosh, whoosh. I see it all the time. And then I see people walk their dog there. A few months later, died of neurological disease. You know, I've told the homeowner several times. People that live here told them you can't do that. So the municipality come up with a brainy idea that, well, we're not going to allow the sale of Roundup and this and that here anymore. Well, the people just drive across the municipal border and just buy it there. It's like pass the Paxol, man. Sorry, I shouldn't be so facetious, but you get tired of it. Hey, you get tired of seeing it over and over and over. And it's like, jeez. And dog after dog dying. Hey, you know, the doggy doesn't know, walks right. And so the last person that I seen it was in the fall there. She was spraying it. And a good friend that become a good friend now, a bit nosy, but she admitted to it. But it's fun healing yourself. But anyway, she was walking her dog right through it. Like it was the day after that they sprayed there. And they just don't get it, man. So good morning, Sumi. Good morning. But yeah, so it's a tough fight to get people to change, and they don't want to get down there and put some mulch on top of the weeds or something to get rid of them, or a piece of cardboard. They want to spray, and every time someone new comes to the neighborhood, it takes a little bit of time for the animal to die from the neurological. And the vet even came back and said that, hey, Shawnee Grows, hey, you might recognize one of these. No, oops. Here we go. Oops. There we go. There we go. This one's for you. So it's a spile. So yeah, 20 degrees southern position of the tree, maples preferred, whatever you got, pretty much. It'll give you a bit of sugar water. You could use a little one like this, just tap it in, tap, 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 put a bottle on it or hose to a bottle. That's pretty simple, them ones. But just general chit chat about getting a drink of sugar water coming up, because we're going to get a little bit of a cold snap coming this week. And that might be here for like 2 weeks to 2 months. So we haven't had snow or any wintry type conditions like sleet or anything like that yet. And we're January 5th. But with the cold coming up, the longer the cold comes in, as soon as it starts warming up 2 or 3 past the freezing point, then it's a good time to go get a drink of sugar water, or you boil it off and make your little bit of maple syrup. It's a good way to pass some time when you're waiting for your seeds to grow, your seedlings. Yeah, there's another Minnesotan in here. Shawnee Grows is from Minnesota. Mother Earth Garden Clump is from Minnesota. I lost a cousin at 42 who was a farmer from cancer, non-Hodgkin lymphoma, that is caused by Roundup. Yeah, I'm very familiar with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I'm extremely familiar with it. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to your cousin. Yeah. Anyway, we got to move on because that's quite the topic for myself. Shawnee saying everyone hello, and Shawnee, good morning. Good morning, Shawnee. Happy Sunday. Where did I see you? Oh yeah, you were over at Maureen's, and yeah, yeah. I'm trying to remember. I wasn't there very long. Sleep. You gotta love your sleep. I was working on my indoor plant setup this weekend. Got more plant lights coming from Amazon. Nice. Hey, taking care of chickens, etc. So can't chat. That's okay. You take care of your chickens. I'm getting chickens this year, but I'm not getting layers. I'm getting fryers. I'm, I'm not keeping them that long, and they live like 15, 20 years, right? So I'm just there to clean out the food forest floor. That's what I use the chickens for. So they'll go through and eat up all the bugs and everything, like they'll scratch it up, and it's just perfect for me because they clear everything out, and it makes the land balanced. But I don't want. I mean, I'd like to have chickens for laying, but I just want meat birds. I'm just like maybe 50 or 60 meat birds. So, that and then I'm only going to keep them for the first 60, 70 days and fatten them up and get them going through the food forest. Will clip their wings so they can't fly. But that's what I'm looking at, and quail and maybe a few pheasants because they can come and go from the food forest to other yards, right? And people like to see pheasants, and like the ringneck pheasant, people just go, "Oh my god, it's a ringneck pheasant!" I'm like, okay, uh, something to do with rings and romance, maybe subliminal. I don't know, man. Tasty meat birds, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm looking at that because I can't afford to buy a $35 free range chicken. $35. And that's not very big. It's only a little chicken like that. $35. I mean, how many times you can pay $35? Thank you for the thumbs up. So I got a new book called The Secret Life of Bees. Well, it's relatively new. It was a present from my best friend. And I just started reading it. So I don't know a lot other than some of the folklore in it. And that was kind of spooky. But The Secret Life of Bees. And when you're young and you're exploring this world, it's an interesting world. So the bees give you a nice sweet treat. All that honey is concentrated in the comb. So wild like they a honeybee can come right into your house and through any little nook and cranny, especially if you've got a vine growing on your house like English ivy or something. That's just going to make a hole right through your house. So bees get in quite easily there, and then as the house settles, you'll see the bee showing up a lot more. And but what's coming up for myself is a bit of sugar water, and it's 1, 2, 3%. It's probably more like 1% because this is a broadleaf maple here. You want one of these puppies. You want to put it in on a 20-degree angle, as far in as here. This is about a 5/16, I think. I'm not sure. And you just drill it in about 1.5 inches, and you put it on a 20-degree angle and put your bucket here and just fill it up. And then you're drinking sugar water. I mean, and there's a lot of minerals in it too. Hey, there's a ton of minerals. So having a little sugar water is part of my Simran. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just talking about tapping trees, and you can put in more than one spile in a tree. $35 for one chicken doesn't sound like economically sound investment. No, No, I'll be buying the meat bird for about $3, maybe up to far as $5 as a check. So mostly they'll fend for themselves on the forest floor. They'll eat all the sunchokes up that are surfaced, like for 3 or 4, 5, 6 inches down. They'll get in there and get the sunchoke, and that takes care of a lot of the sunchokes here. But I only grow them on the outside of the property for privacy anyway. But yeah, yeah. So just talking about the different like the umbrella birch here the birch is umbrellaed so that it looks like a mushroom, so it's part of the landscaping, the visual kind of like a fable look. So what that does is every year that birch has to be trimmed on the bottom to keep that umbrella look. When that happens, that's the time to put on your bottle. You take a bunch of the umbrella birch twigs that are coming off little branches. You put them in a tight pile. You give it a snip, and then you put it on. Now that happens after it's warmed up in the spring. They actually run a lot really late. They'll run right up till springtime, late spring. Whereas as the maple will be tapped in March. It actually probably could be tapped as soon as I get like a couple of months of or a couple of weeks of freezing, but I haven't had it yet. I've had cold temperatures, but there's been no winter here yet. Thank you for the thumbs up. If you can do thumbs up and share out the live, I'd appreciate it. The more people that learn about just a simple tap of a spile like this. You drill your hole into the southern position, tap in your spile, put your hose on here, put it into a milk jug, bing, bada, boom. Put a little bit of tape or something around it so no bugs can get in there. Here in British Columbia, you have bugs like all year round, but they're not like what you think. Like they're not going to, it's not like it's a mosquito horde going to get you. Rebel canners, you can tap until the leaf buds open on the maple. Yep. You sure can. Good to see you there, Rebel. But I just do a little tapping, collect my tap water from when I go and do foraging. So I'll be making a little video of what I'm foraging, and then the sugar water is part of the forage. I'm not going to be reducing it. I'm just going to warm it up a little bit to, you're leaving it there. Not everybody nice. Maybe somebody leaves something in there for you and it's not so nice, right? So, monitor, keep it close, trail cam on it. When you have people that are psychopaths that live in the city, and there's lots of them, not everybody nice. And so you have to be aware when you live in the city that not everybody nice. most sociopaths are, you don't even know they're psychopathic. You just, there's some people in this world that like that kind of person. I should say a lot of people like that kind of person. But be careful with with anything that you're harvesting, foraging and stuff like that. You like every May here they spray for the gypsy moth here. So for 2 weeks, I don't do anything. I try to cover up my greens patch. I live in the city and have cameras for sure. I'm loaded with cameras, motion detectors, cameras, audio, video. I'm getting some upgrade. I just upgraded hugely because not everybody's nice. And you got to understand there's some people that have no conscience that can pass a polygraph because they're psychopath. Even governments, hire people like that because they'll do dirty deeds without a conscience, and they'll think, oh, this is for my country and God. And no, God has nothing to do with it, and your country doesn't either. The people don't want that. It's a few of the 1% that want that. Anyway, I don't want to rant too much. I'm going to go get a coffee. Hey, good morning. Some have their uses. Yeah, yeah, right. Sure. Oops. that's a, that's quite sinister. Good morning, Mandy. Just talking about getting a little sugar water, and I'm going to get a coffee. Yeah. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oops says good morning to Mandy. Simran says good morning. Yep. Cheers to happy Sunday morning. And if it's your day off, have a happy day. So just talking about collecting a little bit of sugar water there. So this is your spile. So you want it on 20 degrees, like that's 20 degrees right there. So maybe a little more even. There you go. You don't want it too much. And you want it to tap in here. So you want the drill bit the same size as this. And this widens as it comes out. So it'll tap in. And then you can get water. Now, on a southern position on the tree where the tree warms up, that's where you want. That's exactly what you want. Now I'm going to be tapping a few trees in my neighborhood, which I've tapped before. So, well, there we go, right there. So I'll be monitoring it quite heavily. I'll be putting my trail monitor there, and I can just watch it anytime, and then it'll get recorded. I've got some new equipment coming, even though I just bought a ton of new equipment. And so, but you need to be, some type of security when you're in the city, because not everybody's nice and anybody can come and go on your street. You don't know who's who. And so yeah, I made maple syrup 2 seasons, then gave up, laugh out loud, a lot of work boiling it off. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm going to heat it up to sterilize it, but then I'm just going to drink it, Bill. And there's a lot of ways to get a drink of sugar water. Like you got a lot of birches where you are, bud. Okay. I was thinking about you yesterday for some reason. It eludes me, but there's many ways to tap a tree, and there's the ones around here like the Lombardy or like the cottonwoods. They give a lot of water, a ton. Well, thank you for the hearts. They give a ton, but the problem with the cottonwood is that it turns to alcohol in 24 hours. So when you go to drink your sugar water, you're getting a buzz. When you get a DUI and they're like, "Have you had a drink today?" No. How come you look so smiley and bloodshot eye? Blow onto this, please. So they blow and then they lose their license. Lovely. But it could be only like 1, 2, 3, 4% alcohol. But if you drank a lot of it or left it for a longer amount of time, cottonwood be poplar or willow. Yeah, cottonwood is like it's under the poplar family. Like it's kind of like a Lombardy poplar, but any deciduous tree that loses its leaves, not evergreen ones, can be tapped, and there's a lot of them. So the thing is just this is just a conversation for like you can make this pretty fast. Okay, so you put in your spile, and then you just put a hose onto there and it comes down to a bottle, so you're just getting a yeah. Cottonwood is the only tree I'm allergic to. Really, I've never heard of that. Willow are called cottonwood here in Tennessee by some. Huh. Willow's a little bit more. It has a well, that's where aspirins come from. It's anacetamine or something like that. So be careful with drinking a lot of willow. You'll be feeling real good. And Bill is saying that he's nice to see you there, Andy. Yep. But getting a drink of sugar water in the spring, and then that water is very clean, very clean. Speaking of clean, during World War II, there was there was no plasma to save soldiers, so doctors in the South Pacific would actually use coconuts. The water inside is pure, and that went into the soldier and saved his life. And how I know that, I did a little bit of military history, and some oddball thing like that you never really talk about. But the coconut water is perfect for a human. If you and doctors in the U.S. in the U.S. military, they had no plasma, so they hooked up a coconut to the individual. I love coconut milk. Well, you don't want to inject that, but so do I. I did not know any deciduous tree could be tapped. I have some really big trees on the property, but I don't know what they are. Well, you wouldn't want to tap some deciduous trees, like poisonous ones. I shouldn't have such a broad statement. I could get in trouble from someone like Mandy. She don't mind if it's not super correct. Yeah. But that doctors did do that in the United States military. They had no choice, or their patient would pass. So I think the doctor made the right decision. Good morning, Scotty I. Dugatti. There was another thing. That's what I wanted to talk about. I read like secret books, and I like secret books. So when I get to have secret information, I tend not to talk about it too much, but I have the gift for gab. So I'm going to talk about something that was a military secret. This should be fascinating. I wonder if YouTube's going to blot it out. So anyway, during World War II, the Battle of Britain was on its, it was raging, and the English had a plane called a Spitfire. Okay, and it was a highly maneuverable plane. It was bad, and then it could take on anything the Germans had because of its high maneuverability. But they were being overwhelmed. So an intelligence officer notices that this squadron over in Scotland's been flying, and they have an 18% higher kill ratio. Why? The intelligence officer wants that intel for, to win the war, because an 18% higher kill ratio is a very high kill ratio. So along comes this intelligence officer, and he's interviewing the pilots, like everything about them, everything. So there's one thing that they noticed. This was that they ate bilberry jam on their crumpet. And so what does bilberry jam do? Well, it dilates your capillaries, so you can see at night, and you can see further distance. So that's what the edge was in the Battle of Britain and the Air War. It was a simple thing called a bilberry, and it was the anthocyanins that were the color blue, and it dilates your capillaries. So the intelligence officer notices this. So everybody in the Royal Air Force is now eating bilberry jam. But hey, how do you disguise it? Carrots. Everybody eat carrots. They're great for your eyes. Well, they probably are to some degree. Got some vitamin A because it came out of soil, right? But it was the bilberry. And I tried growing bilberries, but couldn't do it. They have to grow by themselves. You can go, I've moved them out. They've been growing out of stumps and swamps. I've tried everything. It just doesn't happen. Bye, Howie. I'm traveling to another city and on my way and pass this by. You're live. Okay. You take care, Simran. So, yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Bye, Simran. So it's something to remember, that colored blue that's in blueberries, grapes. It's powerful. It's very powerful for your vision. Bye, Mandy. Bye, friends. Take care, Simran. Gardening logs. I dropped by there. I haven't heard of bilberry. Well, and a lot of people haven't. It's a little known berry because it's in Scotland. They grow all over the bloody place, and in England and some places in the U.S. too. Take care, Simran. Have a good day. And but the bilberry makes a nice jam. Hey, Howie, off topic, but how's your eye doing? Well, it's the same, really. Maybe a little bit of better because I'm doing L-acetyl L-carnitine from the doc. Prescribes different things like a private guy, and so yeah. Well, yeah. So you have more blood flow, more oxygen, so you can see further, and then that's what the bilberry jam did for the British pilots. Are they hard to grow? Extremely hard to grow. You cannot grow them. Well, you'd have to know a lot. You have to be super smart and lucky. And I tried moving them, it didn't work. I tried growing them, I stratified them. I did everything in the world. I can't do it. I'm not that smart. So it has something to do with pressure and I the bilberry info is super interesting. Yeah, yeah. Have a good day. Think. I think you as well, Simran. Bilberry is not easy to grow. Very few can do it, if any. I have tried, and I'm a pretty good grower. Good morning, Howie, and all in chat. -10 Celsius. Brr. You can't come into this chat swearing there, Dave. Any four-letter words in there? No. Dave's a sweetheart of a fellow. A rare treat amongst the Neanderthals that run around on this planet. Dave's got it up here. And he's got a heart too. I eat bilberry, good, very good for health, especially heart. Yep. Well, you'll have good blood flow. But bilberry is not. It's not. You're better off eating the fresh blueberry or bilberry or something similar, like a conia berry will do it too, because you're looking at that really dark black color, the anthocyanins. And that's the key here. My night vision is a problem, so I will look up bilberry. Yeah. Well, you can get dried bilberries. They're delicious. Chew them lots, like 50 times. Let it masticate in your jaw and let it absorb into you. And I've read stories of people that knew about eating the bilberry before going to warfare at night. Ain't that something? But stuff like that is not common knowledge. It's not. So if you can see at night, I mean, that's pretty darn good. I mean, it's not going to be like bright as day, but you'll see that someone's there. Blackberries are extremely good for you. I do grow aronia berries and blueberries. I'm having a bit of a hard time with identifying some berries here. I'm going to have to go to the nurseryman. I don't generally go see Ken that much, but I really don't like him that much. But he has more knowledge than I on plants when I have a vast array. But I don't like him that much, but I'll go and see him. He's not a very pleasant guy. I don't know how he's made it, but I'll go and see them anyway and ask them, and I'll show them the video. I'm going to take a new video I've looked at. I never heard of aronia berries. Well, neither did I until Broke Farmer mentioned it. I think I might have read about them, but I discounted it because they're not in my area. And so, it is what it is. But yeah. The bilberry you cannot grow. The bilberry is very difficult to transplant. If you can buy a bilberry plant and then plant it, hey, go for it. You should have them. Aronia are easy to grow bush. I got a big harvest on my 2-year-old plants. Yep. These plants here, I'm having difficulty in identifying, so I'm not going to try it until an expert tells me so, because that's just the way I am. I'm smarter than an aronia berry. I know I am. But sue me, yeah, blackberries has the same anthracidins in it. A lot of powerful antioxidants like vitamin C and stuff in them as well. But the color blue and black is what is very, very healthy for earthlings to have. But on a more serious note, when it was when Hugh Dowding was the air marshal in England, and he signed an order that every single guy, and there were some women pilots at the beginning, and maybe at the end too, but I've read there were some in the beginning, and you get your bilberry right now, and yeah. Wild Edibles, welcome. Puff Fast, my friend is here. We're just talking about doing a little tapping. There we go. 20 degrees. You probably know all about this. So, yeah. Yeah, they're actually, yeah. I make a mix. Okay, yeah, easy to grow bush. Yes. Yeah. Aronia are more black and more like a choke cherry like flavor. Yeah. I make a mix that is blackened garlic, cayenne, bilberry, hawthorn. Wow, white willow, hawthorn, and mistletoe for heart health. Powerful stuff. Wow. Be careful here. I'm on YouTube and I've got to read this. And the disclaimer is always go see your doctor. And if someone says something like what Oops just said, still go see your doctor. And I appreciate your intel, but we have to be very careful here on YouTube. It's not as an open discussion as I would like. And thank you kindly, Oops. Yes, best to have the berry identified. Yes, deadly nightshade berry is very black too. Yeah, I know nightshade. It's all good, Oops. Yeah. It's all good. Thank you all for the thumbs up and being here on a Sunday morning. And my friend Wild Edibles is here, which is a very dear friend, and her husband Mikey and her crew that's around her. My project today is to make fire cider. Wow. Hey, I think didn't someone I just watched that. Doctors, however, get no training on plant-based medicine. Well, that's not entirely accurate, Sue me. One time, up to about 100 years ago, you had to be a botanist to become a doctor. So you had to have plant medical information, and you had to have information on how to take extracts. You had to have how to make a tincture, how to make whatever it is. Yeah, today's doctor, of course, sue me. Today's doctors rely on the pharmaceutical to do everything for them. There's so many doctors in our medical system that never see a patient. They all work in this tier of society of at the hospital and whatever, health authorities. They never see anybody. They've been doing that for 20, 30 years. They wouldn't know how to be a doctor. They wouldn't have a clue. And that's pretty much what's wrong with this medical system. It's orchestrated to where I don't have to do anything. One lady here just recently, she was up at the hospital with her baby for 12 hours. And all she needed was a swab to see what her baby had. A child, 3, 4 years old. It's crazy. And it's been going on and on and on. And the people that are orchestrating it live in this fantasy, malevolent world, as far as I'm concerned. But that's my opinion. Excuse me. I don't want to get in too much trouble. Sue me. Today's doctors, yes, of course. Now that's here in the West. Like in other countries, it's way different. And there's a lot of really good doctors here in Canada. I know several really great surgeons, and I know them, and they're really good people. They can only do so much. They're not they're not in charge. So agreed, FFP. And okay, was my friend Sue me still here? Exactly, Sue, because they can't make money from exactly. I tagged a bunch of videos on my community tab for you, Howie. Well, you're a sweetheart. Thank you kindly. Mother Earth, I add elderberry syrup to my ciders and garlic honey mixes. Exactly. Mother Earth, I can advise good health, but we definitely can't. Right. Agree. Okay. I have a friend with a large area with elderberries. Lots of work, but worth it. Nice. Sue me, Western doctors. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't read that out, but everybody else can read. Wild edibles, what with privet? Oh, that's that. Yeah, that's that. There's a berry that, Shawnee was talking about, and she figures that's what it was. But there's a lot to learn, and the longer you stick with something, the more you're going to be good at it. Like, well, it's off one of the off roads away from here, which I really don't go around too much because there's a couple of psychopaths around there that you don't know what the hell they're going to do. So I don't generally go down that road because they're dealing drugs or whatever they're freaking doing. You see, I don't know. I don't care, but it's in my neighborhood. But I just don't go down there. And one day I decided to go down there in the wintertime, and here's this bush all full of berries. And I'm like, well, this is cool. So yeah. I will add elderberry, my fire cider, and garlic honey to nice, Mother Earth. Nice. That being said, it's time to. Where is my. Oh, here it is. Because I'm going to have a smoked salmon, and I'm just going to chat with you. And I don't feel like bending down past my computer. Actually, allopathic physicians working with naturopathic physicians I have found to be a good, the integration as well there. That's for sure. I've seen that a lot in the community now. A great deal, actually. Sorry about the blackout. It's not for you folks. It's for some folks that don't sleep at night. That's programming AI. Sounds good. Oh my God. Pardon me. That berry that Howie has is not the privet. I know. Privet here in Tennessee is like a boxwood bush that's invasive, makes good arrows and such. Very hard wood that you could very well be right. I might even put a contest up, with one of my secret books or something, where you get a secret book if you can positively identify it. I'm not 100% on that yet, so Give me time. I like to do a contest every year, just something simple. I've done everything from giving away my Food Forest Permaculture T-shirt to something I've made to books I've had. There's a few different ones. Oops, people plant them. Fancy bush you can trim. Yep. Got to do what you got to do. Exactly. I mean, really, you know, it's big business for some people with no scruple or couth to take someone's video and cause them a problem or make money from what you're talking about, or that's why you have copyrights. And I started out with copyrights, but I don't care. I'm not long for this world, so I just don't care about it. And it's just a circle to put people that have less in. I mean, rich people, they just make something and sell it. Okay. Poor people put a patent on it and get royalties. And then chances are you're probably dead and gone, and the kids might get the royalties, even if they're real rotten kids. Aren't you stopping being on YouTube in March, Howard? Yeah, March 15th, I'll be on for 10 years. And then there won't be any more live streams. There will be no more shorts. And the video part, I may put up a video. Oops. Hey, Oops is here still, I hope. Yeah, I am actually. I've been prepping myself with a ton of good books and my camp. I have a I have a place that I go to that is in the North Pacific. So I just like my privacy. So that's a big thing. That's and the number one is my health. So I have it down to where the electro smog won't affect me. I I'm I can't say too much, but electro smog is pretty harsh. So, and it's getting worse. You ever notice that your nose hairs are tingling? That's electricity. Yeah, there's too much electro smog. It's not going to end well for humans. That's my prediction. I'm not trying to give you fear porn. I'm just telling you to be careful. The electrosmog is quite real, and it's in the air. I mean, go check out Tesla. They hang like choke cherries, but have skinnier leaves. Do you freeze there by now? Oops. The privet here gets tough berries about the size of a BB, and birds eat a lot. Hmm. Well, the privet berry it's not obviously not a privet berry because these are much larger. They're about half the size of a marble. Do you ears ringing? Yes, yes. That's yes. Wild edibles. Yes, yes. And your nose hair is going, and your face is going numb. It's electrosmog, and it's very little talked about. Oh, it's small. Don't worry about it, the cell phone. It's small amount. That's what you're told. Why is there a little tiny label in there saying, "Well, freeze like cold"? Yeah, quite cold here now. Yeah. Well, this electro smog, there's people that are measuring it around and people next to stuff. Or, this one lady, I'll tell you one story. This one lady, she starts forgetting stuff. The most brilliant person you'll ever meet. Highly intelligent, IQ like through the roof, makes Einstein look like a child. Okay. For 25 years, she sat right beside her server and her the computer Wi-Fi thingy, whatever. She sat right there for 25 years. I ain't saying that's what caused it, but she's an absolute loop now. She can't even stand up. I'm just saying what I observed. And she was like so athletic, like she's, she could run down the road. Of course, she's advanced age, but I'm telling you, electrosmog is real, dude. And how much can your neurological bloody well take? Right? I'm probably going to get in trouble and this will be deleted, but at least you all heard it. Maybe that's why yours gets hard and different size as well, Howie, is warm. This is possible with the berry. You're absolutely right. Like, that's very good. Adrian, welcome, welcome, welcome. But you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Um, Different temps, different climate. This is a marine temperate climate here. We have not had winter yet. There's no winter to speak of. There was one frost like a while back that came, and then that was it. I did see sleet a little tiny little bit. I've seen no snow or freezing accumulation. So you could be quite right. It's good. And I was looking at that too. When I was looking at the berries, I thought, people that showed their berries in their area, or they were experts from a university, whatever, and so that's a good point. Yeah. Oh, oops. Does yours still have leaves? Some are evergreen like Howie's. Yeah, I know it. It's not quite evergreen. I think if it did freeze, they'd all fall off. It just hasn't done that. But I'm not to say that I tried looking for the old video. I did an old video there, and I like to videotape my entire neighborhood up to 5 kilometers from my house. I keep that private, and I can't find that for some reason. It's not in the bank. I'm like, what the hell is this? Because I know several springs, and even one I popped up on YouTube. It's not there. I'm like, well, how the hell is that? But of course, I got 1,300 videos and public, and God knows probably twice that private. So privet here is about the only thing green here. Oh, you're speaking of berries. I'm not familiar with. I'm familiar with 99% of the berries on the west coast of British Columbia. And when I see something that I don't know what is, that's not in the wild. That's in the city. Someone planted that. So I'm going to go see somebody I don't really like, but I love. And he's a nurseryman, and that's all he does. And he's quite wealthy at it too. He's been doing it for 30 years, and he owns a few properties and stores. But I am friends, sort of. Not really. I don't visit him often, and I might leave a card for him at Christmas or something. But I'm just, there's some type of people in this world that you just don't like because they just don't have a big enough heart. And that's what I'll like you if your heart's big and it's beautiful and you're showing love, not just, and you're giving love and you're not talking about it. You're just showing it and giving it. And then I know and I can like you. Until then, I can't like you. I'm, it's a peeve of mine, but berry is purple, but leaves stay green in winter. Just don't click with it. Yeah, I don't click with him at all. And I just get this weird freaking feeling too, like the hair stands up on my arms sometimes when I'm in that nursery. It's a big nursery too. It's huge. And he's got millions of dollars in trees and shrubs there. And they'll even give me some stuff, like, and they give me this huge percentage off because I come in there. I used to have these companies like gardening company and landscaping kind of tree company. And it was just like a little dabble here, a little dabble there. It was just enough really to have a subsistence living, like not really, I'm not going to be a Rockefeller, I'll tell you that, nowhere near it. And just worked enough to pay my bills and buy food. I wasn't looking at, I didn't tuck away very much because I didn't make very much. But the point is that when you're in the city, you got to do something for a living or you're going to be begging. It's as simple as that. And there's not much love for you. So that's one of the things that city life, you can live in the city your entire life and never know your neighbor. Never know them, who they are, what they are. Can you count on them? Like-mindedness? You don't know. They wear sunglasses. You can't see their eye. They got a mask on now. Everybody's got a mask or a scarf or who the hell are you? Like I'm not nosy, but I'm careful. I mean, I respect your privacy, but please respect mine as well. Like if you're expected somewhere, then go. But if you're not expected somewhere, don't go. Because you may not be welcomed. These type of things you don't change much of. There's some variances, but like don't go away mad, just go away. Some people are like that, and that's the type of guy that I'm going to go see because my mentor was a master botanist. He studied plants for 75 years, died when he was 99. And he knew every single plant, their medicinal uses, edibility, and he didn't like plants that deer didn't eat because that was toxic to humans as well. There's a reason why they go deer proof. Well, hello, what the hell are you going to eat when SHTF comes along? Are you going to try to go out there and eat the plant that the deer can't eat? No, like I see euphorbia, I see helleborus. These are like violent plants and people plant them. And I'm like, you've lost your noodle. You either you don't know what you're doing or you do. Which one is it? That's a cool thing, a mystery plant to go back to. They are semi-green, dropping before they get new leaves and flowers. Privet here is about the only thing green here. Berry is purple, but leaves stay green in winter. Really, hey? Now that's the privet berry, hey? Just don't click with, that's right. I just found out that we can have a shed 15 by 15 now without permits as long as it does not have running water or hydro. See, here it's 10 by 10. There it's 15 by 15. And you can have hydro to your shed here. Now the sheds are all evolved into garden suites. And now there's a code put into the municipal laws that you're allowed to have that garden suite as long as it comes up to code. So the electrical post, how some people get around that, it's a temporary one. We're just building. So then the inspector goes away. Now, if you don't let anybody know you have it, I mean, it's not going to be a problem, right? As soon as you show that you have it. So the least you show, the better off you are in this crazy world. And it's pretty crazy. So anyway, the big thing is next is the toilet, the water. Okay, you can have gray water, but you can't have poop. What do? Human manure toilet. Human manure toilet. People are really brainwashed, hey, like a lot of people to the poop. Oh my God, I had to smell that one time. Yeah, well, you know what? There's a lot of poop on this planet. A lot. Now, some people will go out of their way and try to learn all the rules, which is really sweet. I like that. I rather like that a lot. But if you're learning something that's going to be like neuro-linguistic programming to your detriment over a long period of time, I got a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. I like the burning ones. That's very interesting. Yeah. I've been looking at earth ships of cob or something in between for a greenhouse. Yeah, passive solar greenhouse would be ideal where you are. Thermal heating from the ground would be. Now, that being said and done, there's two things you can do. You can build a cob house there and all the materials right there in your environment for almost free or very little money. And that is 10 by 10 here. Or where you are, 15 by 15. That's pretty good, man. I think that's 150 square feet. That's more than enough to have a domicile. So that being said and done, what does it need to be inspected? Well, not unless you have electricity or a pooper. Okay. So you can build it out of anything you want. Like there's plenty of pine where you are, and dead pine, dying pine. You incorporate that into your cob. You're going to make out pretty good. I don't like having toxic plants in my yard, but I usually do, but I'm careful about them. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a pass over on that. I'm going to pass on anything like that. But then there's some uses that a professional would use. I'm not interested in it because simple fact, I'm not that professional. So I try to tend to go with plants I know are going to grow and it's going to be good and I can use it. And I can especially use it if I could just leave it and it looks after itself. I don't have to do anything to it. There's also ground greenhouse. Yeah, a Willipina. Absolutely. I've been looking at earth ships or the cob or something in between for a greenhouse. Yeah, passive solar greenhouse. That's what you want. You know, yeah. That's ideal where you are. You can grow tomatoes and even bananas and lemons if you want. Why the hell not? I hate burn weed, also get nettles. Have any in here eaten them? Well, I have to go back. I like burning ones that very. There's also in-ground. Yeah, okay. Mother Earth Garden Club. I hate burn weed. I have no idea what burn weed is. Also called nettles. I do know of Diadica. I know a great deal about that. Have any in here eaten them? How do you? Well, you just steam them up. You steam them up and eat them. You can throw a little salt and butter on them. They're delicious. Or you can drink that swampy tasting water that's super healthy for you. When they are young, you can eat them lightly boiled. Yes, thanks, Wild Edibles. Actually, I think Wild Edibles did some very good adventure on them. And the very young leaves, she was handling no problem at all. I was impressed, actually. I was very impressed. Datura, a purple one, comes up. It's so beautiful. I can't help but leave one somewhere. Yeah, Datura is. Yeah, yeah. That's a very toxic plant. Anything Datura, it's. Yeah, you're welcome. You can dry them and drink as tea. Datura? No, that's nettles you're talking about. Hey, don't confuse me, man. Nettles are a staple around here. Exactly. Coming out of winter, you're going to be pretty toxic, especially in the northern states like Idaho or Nebraska or Minnesota, any of those northern states, you're not going to have as much exercise during the wintertime. You're going to be more inside. So you become a little stagnant. So a good cleanse is those nettles and rhubarb. Boy, that just, yeah, you want to cleanse when you're coming out of winter because you're all, yucky, sticky, and your blood's sticky and shit. Sorry. Sacred Datura is hallucinogenic. Well, it just might be, and I see it growing here. I've seen Datura palatum, the trumpet flower, growing here. That's known as the death tree. People don't even go sleeping under it because they don't wake up. I take pictures of it, video, and I even owned one for a while. And the guy to give it to me goes, "What happened to your plant?" I said, "Oh, it just died." And he's like, "Oh no!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't take it in undercover or anything. I just let it die. I wasn't interested in. I didn't want to pass it on, and I just didn't want it. It's beautiful to look at, but if you've got a child that comes up and goes, they're you're in a lot of trouble, hey." So yeah, a lot of plants are psychedelic, hallucinogenic. There's some plants can be astringents, some plants can be diuretics. There's a lot to learn, and that's why doctors, before they became a doctor, would become a botanist and understand all the Latin terminology. I do not. I recognize by eyesight, memory, if I've used something, and then I always do 3 checks and before I do anything. And yeah, I have a toxic plant, rhododendron, but the flowers are beautiful. Well, it's actually the rhododendron is under the blueberry family, the Vaxium family, the blueberries. And the problem with rhododendrons are not that they're beautiful big flowers. The problem is there's a toxicity there that bees collect and bring to the honey stash. Then you eat the honey. So that's not such a good thing. So yeah, rhododendrons are an acid lover. So azalea, rhododendron, and blueberry are under the same genus. They can be grafted onto each other. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, there's many kinds of rhododendrons. There's some in India that are just massive, as big as buildings, man. And then here on the coast, I have seen them cover up a house, like over a 30-year period, them growing up and then just covering up the house. You don't even see the house no more. And I'm like, that's cool. It looks beautiful. And there's video of that rhododendrons on my channel here that you can go and watch and see them. And they cover the house. And it's very cool to see. Yeah, very cool. I have a toxic. Yeah, Native Americans kept war from happening by telling troops to eat, claimed they were out of their minds for 11 days. Wow. Wow. Yes, oops, but the professionals will tell you to leave it alone. You can get lifelong problems. Yes. The dose is also close to the toxic dosage, so it's always never dabble in any of that stuff unless you're I only know one guy that can do anything with plants. In my entire, well over half century on this planet, I know one guy, and that ain't me. That's this guy, and he knows everything. There's just one guy. There's always going to be that one guy. Yes, oops, but the professionals will tell. Yep, fine shrooms. They are safer and better. I hear from story times. Yeah, I would not eat Datura. Neither would I. I was also used to bring braves into manhood. You know what? There are ceremonial. There are cultural. There even down to creed. Okay, but unless don't mess around. And all I can tell folks is just keep calm and carry on. Remember the 3 C's: calm, cool, and collective. Don't be impulsive. Life is enough of a trip for me. Yeah, me too, Mother Earth. Hey, Shawnee Gross is still listening. There we go. Wild Edibles is laughing. Right, Mother. Shawnee, check out my community tab. I posted a few videos on Privet. Oh, I have a question about that. It's who's who in this who world. Like I said, I know one guy. One guy. Yeah. Yeah. You know what the problem with knowing that one guy? And he was my mentor for, I don't know, well over a quarter century. Yeah, he passed away. That's the problem. So now I have this other one guy replacement, which I don't even care for too much. I have to go and see him because I don't know. And all that stuff coming back by Google and ID plant and all that stuff, you get 10 different plants, man. You got 10 different plants. It's not accurate. I can't have 10 different plants from 10 different sources. I just can't do it. It's just, and some people leave adventurous comments too. Hey, I don't know if you went and read some of the comments. They were totally sure they knew what it was. And I just said, oh, maybe. I didn't say, no, absolutely not. I only put down if you're 50% right. I think I'm 25% right, but it's a tough one because it's such a nice looking berry. It's very appeasing. It's appetizing, and it's great because it's a winter food forage that I could do. And so it's definitely in my repertoire of things to do in case of SHDF. I know those berries are there. I mean, maybe someone else does too, but maybe I'm smarter than someone else. Maybe I'll dig the plant up and drag it home when it's dormant. Sean, Cliffside permaculture is good, but I didn't ask them yet. She's very good. That lady is amazing. I consider her a friend, an earthling friend, a lovely sort. I think she's adorable, big heart of gold, and she's smart. She's plant smart, man. She's super, especially like over on the East Coast, Pennsylvania area. Anything that grows in her locale, she not only knows all the different common names, but she knows the exact Latin name. I enjoy watching her. She's fun to watch. Yeah, she's always up to something cool, hey? Just making her way best way she can. Yeah, cliffside. And it is a cliffside too. It's very interesting how she's built that. I haven't been over there in a long time. Don't forget to smell it, not taste it. Yeah, rubbing it on your finger first is probably good to see if it swells up. I wouldn't put it on your wrist. A lot of people say, oh, I rub it on the inside of your wrist. Nah, let's see what happens to my fingy first. They're tough, right? Don't forget to, yeah, wild edibles, what you have posted is not the privet here. Huh. You're going to have to excuse me for one moment, please. I'm not an expert on privet, but there's more than one kind of privet. Oh, yeah, there's a few different ones. Oops, some look different. Yeah, some are taller, some are like 20, 30, 40, 50 foot trees, some are little shrubs. One's a glossy kind, one's not. That's all I remember. And I can't even remember the whole Latin name, but I've actually read it several times. It takes 130 times to put something in your brain and stick there. It's as simple as that. And if you can just look at it and remember it totally, well, then you were born and you weren't traumatized in any shape or form. So your psychic ability is still there. So until that happens, it takes 130 times. Yeah. Yeah. To remember something. Simple as that. Berry and flowers are different too. Yep. There's a few different ones. Yep. Well, that was what you have posted is not the privet here. Yep. Most likely isn't. Because of the, there's more than one kind of privet. I looked at that too. And I've never been stumped before for too long like this. And I've done some investigation, not a lot. I haven't knuckled down totally yet because then I'm obsessed. So I have to continue with good governance. Danny Lorraine, good morning, all the way from Newfoundland. Sunrise just happened at 7:31 Pacific Standard Time in the North Pacific off of British Columbia's coast. That's and it's supposed to be cloudy with a little snow. Supposed to be. Rumors I heard, but we haven't had snow here yet. And I'm very happy about that. Hey, Danny and Lorraine, we're just talking about spiles. In the southern part of those big, beautiful birch trees that grow in Newfoundland, you put in about a 20-degree angle like that. You drill a little hole, about a 5/16, but then see this is tapered. So when you tap it in, it gets swells. So, and you probably did this before, and you just hang a little bucket on there or whatever you got to do. So on the southern part of any birch tree, and you get a good drink of water, you probably already know that. You're pretty slick, very slick. Danny and Lorraine. Windy here on the Rock. Today's gust is 112 kilometers an hour. Well, that's not too bad. The most I got this year was 159 kilometers an hour. I thought that was windy. That was a sustained wind too for like hours. And I'm like, holy crapanola. Luckily, I'm under the ridge and it came into somewhere around like your 100 and a little more than 112, but oops, I have to say, birch water is so good. Oh, so good. Yes, it's delicious. It's delicious. It's beer, the sarsaparilla. Oh, and a little bit of that birch water. Oh my God. Yeah, it's nice. It's got that beautiful earthy taste. Hey, it's a little different than maple syrup, and it's not as sweet. Berry and flowers are different. Okay, morning everyone from Danny and Lorraine. Oops, I have to say, out of all the privet that what Howie has is not a privet. I don't believe it is either. I must say, I'm not leaning as much as I did in the beginning. So it does not look like a privet to me. And so, but you know what? Things hybridize in nature by themselves, some not so much, and then others rapidly. We don't know what we have here. I don't know what I have here. And it's not even my tree, but I plan on making one and bringing it home. We get them from birch trees here. Chaga, yep. Mushrooms are good too. Oh, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, chaga's worth a few dollars. It's not, it's not chump change. Thank you all for that thumbs up, sharing this out if you can, because if you're on a cell phone or tablet, I heard that you can't. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm just repeating like because I'm a parrot until I know differently. Yeah. Yeah, birch trees. I get a good drink of water from birch. I just drink it. I love it. I think it's fantastic for humans to have fresh, clean water. Yeah, fresh, clean water. It's more than one way to get drink water. Eh? Grapevines are great too. Hey, for water. For here goes freezing their doggies, freezing their butts. Oh no, bring them in. We get them from, yeah, yeah. Burr. That's Burr. But it's 1:34 and 7:35. It's cloudy because it's sunrise already. And yeah, feeling like minus. Oh, hey, I don't like swearing on my channel, hey? Yeah. So that being said and done, it is 8 Celsius here, which is, oh, I just got a weather warning. Oh, what's this? What's going on? Okay. Um, I don't see no weather warning. Oh, heaviest snowfall in decades. Now that ain't here. Okay, that's gone. They just went out cold. Yeah, yeah. So you folks in the east and the Midwest, you're in some coldness, that's for sure. And it looks like you already got it, but that's good for the maple syrup. That's good. Besides, it's good for the environment, the freezing hours. Sometimes you don't get your fruit unless you have your freezing hours. It's as simple as that. We have no snow here. Strange for here. Yeah, there's none here either. No snow at all. We had frost one night, and it was a bloody good frost too. And that was it. Just that one night. And then I have a friend in Nanaimo, and I was communicated by my friend in Nanaimo that it was there too as well, the heavy frost. So it wasn't just here. I'd like to know. And then I have a friend in Washington State, and the same thing there. In and also it hit as far as Portland down. Now it didn't go past there. This heavy frost was in an area, but it didn't last long. Yes, my apples like it. We have no snow here. No, our pond hat was frozen over. Could skate on it. Now it's all mush. Yeah, you wouldn't be skating on that. That's for sure. No, you don't need a problem. I used to run on land, and then I'd jump onto the ice as I'm moving, and I'd have a garbage bag with me or a piece of plastic. And I mean, I would just fly as a kid on the pond, hey, and then it would be great fun. You run as fast as you can and jump onto the ice with your bag, and off you go. Yeah, yeah. The ponds haven't froze here, but like once every 30 or 40 years they will. One time it was every year they froze here, but that doesn't happen. Every 30 or 40 years it might freeze here enough to, and not really enough to even to skate on it. A couple years back it actually did. It froze enough and people were out on and skating on the ponds here, which hadn't happened for like 40 years before. So yeah, that's weird. I just hope when ice fishing opens up soon, people are careful. Yeah, you have to carry your pole, a nice 8 foot, 9 foot pole, because if you go through, you know, or your life jacket if that's for the young and dumb like I was. I used to until I fell through a couple times. I didn't screw around after that. It froze my butt off. My teeth were chattering so bad it was incredible. And it happened quite rapidly too. It was when I was younger and I didn't have much fat. Now I'd probably live longer because I'm chubby. Our pond was frozen over. Okay, I just hope. Yep. Wow. Yep. So, but yeah, it doesn't freeze around here. Does not like if you were to go like north or go up high in the mountains, that's a different story. Okay, but there's not many lakes and rivers and ponds up in the mountains that you can go fishing on. Then it's pretty tough travel here. It's not like in Newfoundland where you have that tundra and you've got a bit of terrain, but nothing like here. Here you've got terrain. Here it's up this way and down that way. That's just the way it is. and there's nothing you can do about it. So you better be prepared when you travel here. When I travel here, I travel in a group or with another person, and I'll take communications with me because it's as simple as anything can happen. Not not to be expected to happen, but Murphy's law is anything can happen, right? So if you're not somewhat survival handy, like preparedness is part of survivalist because the person was prepared to survive. Well, that's not like a prepper, but a prepper has that skill. But it's different when you've been born into surviving. Like most people in Newfoundland, not all, but most, they can survive anywhere. They know to cut down a few birch and make a pad. Then you can have your fire on that. They know that birch burns right away. They know where the fat wood is on the old windshook pine. Okay. They know to hand high to catch that bunny rabbit. They know when it frosts over in the morning, the partridge is sitting there and it's just his head, and you can just go twist his head off. I mean, it's something that you have. So when you take someone from the city or someone from anywhere off that rock, they don't have the same skill. Some do, but not the percentage of like what's in Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, there's some people in the northern parts of Canada that have the same culture, creed, and that way, but in Newfoundland, you're born to survive and thrive. You're not. You go to school in Newfoundland, kids, they know that they're never going to use all that algebra. They're never going to use all that philosophy. They're never going to use how many prime ministers were great and which ones were awful and which ones were docile or whatever. What they're going to do is they're going to remember that they grew food here, that the sun came up on that side of the cabbages and went down on that side of the cabbage, right? Not just one side of the cabbage. I find them very intriguing because I spent time there a few years and I learned a great deal. Okay. So they're different than others. They're a tough lot, but they got a sense of humor, man. And sometimes their sense of humor is not yours, where yours might be dry humor. Theirs is a happy, wet humor, and to say the least. Yeah, but they're different than anyone else. Newfoundland people. They know exactly where their berries are. They know exactly where their garden is. They know exactly where their moose is. Before they even go moose hunting, they've seen that moose there going through there 100 times. They knew its grandpa and they ate him. Come on. They're pretty interesting people. I used to write poetry about them when I was younger. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder if I still have that. They were an interesting lot. I have a lot of family members there. I never see them. I don't even know them, but they're there. You never know. One day, if I get healthier, I'm going traveling. But right now, I'm not that healthy. Got problems. Yeah. Yes, laugh out loud, Virgin. Good morning, Silly Lily. Silly Lily, we're just talking about some spiles. They go in on a 20-degree angle, southern exposure on the birch or maple or some other ones too. And then you put your little bucket on there and you catch the drippings there, and you got some nice water, beautiful water. You probably know all about that. I'm just talking about general conversations on basically from plants to a good time to what others are doing. And if you went to Newfoundland and spent 3 to 5 years there, you could live anywhere off the land on the bloody planet because you'd be adapted. you would know that you're zoning in and learning something right in front of you. You don't have to go 130 times and remember it. It's ingrained in you. And the air in Newfoundland is very fresh air. There's not a lot of industry. I know when the squirrel is chirping in my window. Are you tapping trees? Well, I will soon. As soon as I get a cold spell, Silly Lily. It's not happening here. There's no snow, no winter, and it's +8 Celsius. So it's 8 Celsius. It's a little cloudy, but the rest of Canada is 20, 30, 40 below. Not here. I haven't had any winter yet. None to speak of, anyway. But that's the difference. He knows I have a bag of peanuts for him. Aren't they smart? I have several here squirrels. They know me, man. They even follow me around. That at one time years ago, they were scared of me and they'd run away. That's not happening unless my little doggies are with me. And then the little doggies are like, that's the bad guy because he's taking food from here. My dogs are really smart. They don't bother birds. But a squirrel or a mouse, that's fair game. And they're only like the little min pin dogs. I mean, the bloody squirrel's probably bigger. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's pretty warm here. During the day, that even goes up higher. Hey, it's like 11, 12. Yeah. One time, I remember it went up to 19. Like not this year, but the other years at this time of year. And I was like, what the hell is that? There's stuff blooming here that shouldn't. I've got plant, and I've got another plant. It looks like some kind of herb or something, and it's blooming. Yeah, it's in a big bloody bloom, little yellow buttercup-like flowers, and it's a shrub, and it's really super green. So I thought, well, what is it? It's kind of like it's a herb of some kind. And so I know it is. I could almost smell a lemon smell, but not quite. More of a citric acid smell. Silly Lily says, Mother Earth Garden Club, I see you mentioned rhododendron. Yes, they are a toxic plant. Yep. Gorgeous flowers. Did you know they can destroy a colony of bees? Yep, I knew that. I don't have them in my garden. Exactly. There's a toxin in there that's not friendly. And if it goes in the honey and you eat it, that's not so good either. Then that honey is toxic. And good morning to Danny and Lorraine. Good to see you, Silly Lily. Great to see you. It's Sunday morning at 7:48 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in the North Pacific. Yeah, I've been given the opportunity to have an upgrade on my boat, so I'm going to be looking at that soon. My boat's 4 or 5 years old, so it's time to give it up and get a new one and new motor too. So I'm looking at that. Got all my fishing gear all ready to go. Yeah, but the new boat, it must be able to go into the Pacific. I'm upgrading. I'll be getting around a 20-footer, 21, 22. I like the number 22. That's a really good luck number. And upgrading a motor, but I'm looking at it, it's a small fortune to me. I mean, but I'm looking at it with partnership. And the partner is, he's a pretty heavy duty guy and everything. So that might cut my cost by half. So, well, it'd be his truck towing it anyway. So the advantage of partnership, like-minded person is good. Silly Lily, Howie, I don't know why the garden centers are allowed to sell them. Not exactly bee friendly. Well, there's not really a lot of honey farms here. There's really isn't. Most honey comes from, actually, the bees are flown to Alaska, and then they pick up like the fireweed honey and stuff. So then they come back here. And then there's other places that they have no scruple, and what you're buying is not even honey. So, be careful when you're buying honey. There's a lot of fakes. It's like buying olive oil. It's a crapshoot unless you know what you're doing. So you know what it's come down to for me? I just buy the honeycomb loaded with the honey. Can't go wrong with that. Bit expensive, but I don't use it that much. I might use 2 pounds a year if I'm lucky in a couple of my recipes. Like I'll do a honey garlic chicken and I'll have the honeycomb in that. So yeah, it's come down to, it's pretty tough to tell if it's real or not real honey. So if you have the honeycomb, I get my honeycomb from Turkey in the Middle East, and it comes right to me through Italy, through this Italian lady I know. So, and I don't buy that much. It might cost me $40 a year, $30, $30 to $40 a year, because I use very little of it. Now that's me because I'm a full-blown diabetic and I have to take insulin every day. I take 10 units just to stay above board and where I'm not going to go totally blind. Sounds like fun, Howie. Yep. Well, the reason why they're easy to grow, to propagate for one. They're easy to clone for two. They grow a little crown, then a root. And they're very showy for a month or two, depending on if there's 2 sets a year can come on. Some azaleas can have multiples too, but blueberry, azalea, and roto are under the same genus. Hey, they can be grafted to each other, and so it's interesting that one is not toxic like the blueberry, but then the roto is, and the azalea is not far behind either. But we have a lot of azaleas and rotos here. I have about maybe, okay, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 types here. That took a lot. There are a lot of beekeepers local. Yeah, well, you don't want any rhododendrons there. As simple as that. You got to be careful, hey? With everything you do, you learn and be careful, tread lightly, leave no footprint. Ha ha, how he made it funny. Yeah, there's not really a lot of beekeepers here. There are a few, but it's basically for their own. And there are a couple of bigger type outfits. Hello, Carolina, Kind Family Homestead. Cheers to you as well. New neighbors of mine had a bee suit on one day. Well, maybe it's a hazmat suit. I made that mistake. I'm like, oh, look at all the beekeepers. They weren't beekeepers. They were hazmat guys. As I'm getting home, like, oh yeah, my vision isn't the greatest, but I can see great distance with one eye. That's as good as I got. Silly Lily is saying hello, but there's homesteading on Vancouver Island, new channel to myself, and they're on Vancouver Island up mid island, and I noticed she was just cleaning out all her dead bees. And there was lots. There was hundreds of dead bees, and then finally some live ones came out. And they have invested time and money into it. But they're getting honey, Yeah, it could be that too. Never know. Yeah. Maybe we are allowed to have bees. I have the garden for it. No shit, hey. Isn't it crazy? People stay awake at night wondering if you're miserable. That's what it seems like to me. That's like malevolent. And I've seen it. It's in this parallel universe that there's just people here that are busybody, snooty, and or malevolent and psychopathic. It doesn't. Every single Earthling has a small little bit of a degree of mental health issues, or a frickin' pile. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference. You could be that too. You never know. Yeah. Well, I told myself after there's 20 thumbs up, I'm leaving. So nobody give any more thumbs up, please. Unless you want me to leave. I'm just kidding. I should get another coffee and have a salmon. Oh, someone left. And they gave you a thumbs up. See, there was someone in here that didn't like me. It's a strange world. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. My pie. My apple pie. Mm. It's been a lovely day so far. I'm surrounded by flowers and plants, and exotic ones, and good friends, good earthlings. Yes, coffee and salmon. Hey, that was easy. Well, I just happen to have another salmon here, and I just happen to have here we go. Howie's disappearing. Watch this. That Howie guy, hey? Howie, I've never heard from getting sugar water from vines before. Hey, you know what? I've discovered it by accident. Years and years ago, I was cutting one was a grapevine, and it was in the early spring, and it was dripping like you would not believe. So I drank some of it. It was tasty. Yep, grape water. Well, you must have heard grape water before. And so I drank that. And what other one? There was another one too. Can't remember. Comfortable. Don't you just love being comfortable? It's kind of like eating biscuits. You're comfortable when you're eating a biscuit. I'm comfortable with the shade on my camera because I'm smoking salmon. I can't stand this autocorrect. Makes me look like I can't type or have any grammar abilities. Easy now, get some good sleep. Rest up. That's pretty funny there, silly Lily. Yeah, sugar water comes in many forms. Yeah, but getting a good drink like coconut water is so clean. Coconut water, it's very healthy, very clean. Yep. Or worse, can't spell. Right, silly Lily? Sunday morning. Sunrise started at 7:32, and total sunrise has already happened, I believe, because there's a bright orangey spot over there. So orange in the morning, all you sailors take good warning. Orange at night, sailor's delight. Oh, bing bada boomba. Houdini. That's a fine coffee. I've drank too much. I drank a whole pot of coffee, but it's Sunday. I'm allowed to get out of control. Yeah, of course. I was reasonable at spelling and writing. I was better than most, but not the best either. And now I just do a chicken scratch. People are like, doctors are worse. You ever see their writing? It's like, okay. You have to be trained to read it. Okay. Why all that? Why don't you just print it up with nice cursory writing and just beautiful and, you know? So I talked to this investigator one time, and she worked for like the tax department. the CRA, and she got her job there was to look at your signature. And she could tell if you cared about the taxes or you were being deceitful, hiding something. This lady was like super genius. Okay. I even dated her for a while. I found her interesting. And so how I knew this, I said, she goes, "Can you just sign your name there?" And I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "Well, I just wanted to look at it." I said, "Well, you can look at it. You can't photograph it and you can't have it." She's like, "Okay." She understood the security, right? So there you go. Bing, bada, boom. I do it. And she's looking at it. She goes, "You care, but you don't care." I'm like, "Huh, that's interesting. Two opposite worlds." So she's like looking it over. And I said, "Well, what else?" Right? She's like, you're not going to lie on your taxes, or you're not going to lie to the law or be deceitful. And I'm like, "Okay, that sounds about right." Just from your writing. Okay, just from your writing. That's it. Yeah, you can tell a lot by someone that just goes, "There you go." They don't care. They don't give a rat's ass about you or themselves. They're narcissistic, sociopathic psychos. That's just what my friend would tell me. "Oh, really? Ooh, who's butt hurt now?" Oh, chicken scratch for sure. Yeah, mine's just a chicken scratch too. I always sign my name. It's legible, right? So that's pretty much what I got from my friend. She was a handwriting expert, so it was good. We've lost contact over the years, but some guy with a 1969 Chevy Cheval or something picked her up, and apparently they live somewhere in Exotica. Good for her. I've known a few of those types. Yeah. There's lots of them. You're either 50% good, 50% bad. One of my really good mentors was a criminologist. Hey, and it would go off positive and negative, your words, whether you're lying or telling the truth. It's as simple as that. And he was the only guy I knew that grew blackberries, thorny blackberries, cultivated. Okay. And he was very interesting because he come from a background, there was some really nasty people there. And he ended up being who he was, a criminologist here in Canada. But he came from some pretty rough shit. And he was an expert at anything you say is all comes out positive and negative. If you're always negative, you're not right in the head. If you're always positive, why? You are right in the head to be positive because you need good energy. So it all comes down to positive and negative words. So that comes down to negative is egoic mind thought form pattern of the left side of your brain that you use for survivability. Then the positive side is the right side. That's this side, which is the creative side. Interesting topic today that I didn't think I'd talk about. I probably should go now. Someone's watching me. Crazy. But you learn from academics. If you're not an academic and you need some intel, and go hang out with academics, have breakfast with them, go to the breakfast clubs, go to the university bookstore. You'll bump into someone with balance, young grasshopper. Well said, silly Willie. Yeah. To get grounded, like I consider my friend up island a friend. It's just a YouTube friend, but you know, they're still friends and they're still here in the world. You just don't physically meet, but they do forest bathing. I know other people that do it here, and I do similar forest bathing. I do more soil bathing. I get I'll even taste soil. I mean, it sounds strange, but I I know the soil. Like you can't go everywhere and taste soil. But when it comes down to your immunal globulins, I mean, you really you want that immunity. You want that combination to attack something that's pathogenic inside you, right? Pathogen. So if you have immunity and good microbes, and keep up the good microbes because they're, your biota or biota, however you say it. That's just a bunch of different microbes that live inside you, and you want you want good microbes. So like kimchi, sauerkraut, or how he goes out and 10-year-old soil that he might eat a little bit on the carrot. Yeah. But I'm still alive when I've been told that I was going to die. I'm still here. So, I'm not saying it's for everyone, but when you've got nothing left to lose, you'll try anything. Yeah. Mother Earth Garden Club says, I've known a few doctors with chicken scratch handwriting. Yeah, that's disturbing. I love sauerkraut for breakfast. That's exciting. Somebody says something else. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it is exciting for, having sauerkraut for breakfast. There's nothing wrong with it. You're putting a good gut flora in. I've taken worm castings before. Fix my stomach. Oh my God. I know people like that. That's the scary part. You're scaring me. I want my mom. I gotta go. Some people get butt hurt. Hey, like they've been trained and put in a box in a drawer. They get scared about shit like that. I didn't know we're having a horror show at Howie's. I've taken worm castings. That's worm shit. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think I might have done that myself a couple times. I ate the worms. I was hungry. I chomped one down. Eat little speckled fish. Just ate them. It's just something you do. Mother Earth Garden Club homemade sauerkraut. Yeah, that's nice. Hey, I'm making cabbage rolls today. I had to really track down the burger, man. Holy schmoly. And you just don't get good burger like from a good animal that, it's rare. So I had to go and track it down. I like dirty carrots from the garden, and I cannot lie. You know what? Me too. You know, like I've been in and out of the hospital for the past week and a half, past 10 days. Okay. They've been sick and super sick, and people just blowing boogers and puking all over, even on me. Okay. I never got nothing. I never got nothing. Nope. Not even a sniffle. I'll eat my carrots with a little dirt on them. Damn straight up. Yes, homemade sauerkraut's easy to make. Yeah. I put most things that I'm pickling in a salt and vinegar brine, and a heavy vinegar, like a 7% acidic acid, not the 5. I like the heavier one. It just seems to do me. Awesome for you, Mother Earth Garden Club. Those wood chips, Howie. I've eaten cambium layers, okay? Like scraped the cambium and ate it because I learned that it was good for me. There's so much to learn about cambium. Like this one First Nations guy I grew up with, he was from the West Coast. He even had his native name still, and a rare treat. And he showed how his grandfather scraped a certain tree up instead of down, that he wanted something different from the tree, some medicine. How delicate. Hmm? How bloody delicate is that? Like, that's amazing. Yep. I find nature amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I love nature. So that being said, then I think I better get going. I've talked all your ears off for, oh gee, must be a couple hours. Not that everybody's been here a couple hours. Some have though. Ooh, homemade sauerkraut is so easy to make. Ooh, what's ooh? Some bark does taste good and would be good flour extender or alternative. What's ooh? Well, a homemade sauerkraut is okay. I like dirty carrots from the garden, cannot lie. Exactly. I mean, not like gobs of dirt on it, but I mean, you wipe it off, but it's still the microbes are there. And there's millions, if not billions, on that carrot. So, yeah. I mean, if you're washing them off, you're not getting the immunity that, that you would normally get. Have a great day. You as well. Oh, yeah, you as well. Bye, everybody. I gotta go now. See you, Silly Lily. Thanks for being here, the Wild Edibles, and anyone else that stayed and come in. Please share the live stream out if you can, and do a thumbs up if you can. And if you didn't see the whole live stream, please go back and watch some more. There's always some good information in there. And March 15th is coming. Thank God. End stream now. Puff, puff, pass the smoked salmon. Yeah. Ending stream now.